It's interesting, and this is something I've learned over the years. Every so often, when I stand at the back after the sermon, somebody will walk by me and say, I really needed that message this morning. Or, you must have been listening at our den last night. And every now and then somebody will say, holy mackerel, Bill, you evermore stepped on my toes today. And those comments generally surprise me, because if I had to guess amongst you all, or whatever congregation I'm preaching to, who might need to hear the words I'm saying, invariably, it's not that person who speaks to me. In other words, these people heard here in the sanctuary, and sanctuaries all over, you are the man. Even though I'm not preaching to them, or the preacher at Idlewild Pres isn't preaching to them, but God's message comes through indirectly and touches them. And, you know, sometimes we just hear these things, but it's also interesting. I know the one generally who consistently feels that the sermons are aimed at him. Guess who that is? It's me. Deborah pointed her finger, and you're right, Deborah. As I work on sermons during the week, and as I read illustrations and look at Scripture, it's unbelievable how I hear God, how I get a message pointing at me where I need to change. I am the man. Oh my gosh, that shoe fits me. So, as the stories of David and Simon the Pharisee show us, God sometimes, frequently, delivers his message indirectly, and there is no shortage of channels. The thing is, we've got to be open to hear those messages. Now, by the same token, and I want you to be aware of this, every time we read the Bible, every time we read some sort of religious writing, there's not going to be personal communication between God and ourselves. Every devotional that we read doesn't fit us. And every criticism that devotional or that sermon might level doesn't necessarily fit us, and we don't deserve it. Not every story is my story. Not every story is your story, and some are for us and some aren't. But there are those times when God speaks to us by indirect means. He doesn't get in our face, but it's through indirect means. And when that happens, we need to say, I'm the man. That's me in that story. Or maybe step away and say, there, for the grace of God, I go. The reason that God sometimes leads us to see reality, though, is for our own good. It's so we can look at reality, and we can use it as a springboard, a diving board, and we can leap off of it. For David, when he saw the reality of his sin, what did he do immediately? He begged God for forgiveness. His recognition of reality caused him to ask for forgiveness. For Simon, the Pharisee, that leap, and we don't know that Simon took that leap, was to see himself as a sinner, equal to that woman who knelt before Jesus. Simon had an attitude, and he was just better, and we don't know that his attitude changed. When we recognize ourselves in Bible stories or in devotionals or some other medium that isn't targeted directly at us, we've got to understand it's an invitation for us to grow or to leap in faith or compassion or understanding or wisdom or grace. God holds it all out there for us. And there's a song, and I want to close with this morning. There's a song that's in our hymn book. We're going to close with it in a minute. That's about a rider at that point of reality. It doesn't say it quite that way, but that's what it's about. It's a spiritual. And it came out of the American slave community. And open your hymnal, if you will, to our closing hymn, number 579, where it says, "It's me, it's me, it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my brother, not my sister, but it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer." Bill McLean wrote a book about hymnody. And he said that the slaves saw the assurance of salvation as largely a personal responsibility. To put that in the way we would talk, in other words, what he's saying is, I am the one in the need of prayer. That's an admission, folks. We can't do it on our own. We can learn from David, and we can learn from Simon, that not every message from God hits us square on. And God doesn't get in our face. But there's always the possibility, and this is what I want you to take away from my message this morning, that when we read in the Scriptures those words, a certain man or a certain woman, guess who that certain man or certain woman might be? It might be me. It might be you. And when that happens, it's so very important that we don't linger and look at that moment of reality that dawns on us. It's important that we use that as a leaping off point, a springboard to do what God has for us to do. I'm the man. That's an admission. Turn with me, number 579. 579